HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Tonight, a mother's pain as police investigate her son's death. Good evening, I'm Candino Knowles.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Mannings. The country's latest murder has many questions and a cloud of suspicion hanging over it. As police left the scene of a shooting in Ridgeland Park East, where a man was reportedly shot in the leg last night, they thought the injured man was the only victim. But as we hear from Clint Watson in tonight's top story, officers had to return to the same spot later where another man was found shot to death.
The anguish and pain of the mother and sister of 38-year-old Rolando Smith is evident. They stood in the yard of his home in Ridgeland Park East, looking over the wall that separated them from where his body laid in the front yard of Royal Heritage Preschool. Police say around 12:30 this morning, gunshots rang out. When they responded, they met a man shot to the leg. EMS responded, and the man was taken to hospital, where he's listed in stable condition. Superintendent Paul Roll of the Central Detective Unit.
This morning, the workers from the preschool came to open up and discovered male lying in the foreground of the premises.
Police say they believe this matter is connected to two other shootings overnight involving the same gray Honda Inspire vehicle. The incident on Broom Street left a man shot in his side, and the other on Hay Street left a male shot in his ankle. Both incidents were reportedly drive-by shootings that took place around 8 last night.
The deceased here, we believe, was the target for those other shooting incidents that happened overnight.
A heavy police presence on the scene signals something isn't right. There are more questions than answers, and this family is looking for those answers. What they don't understand is why, when this incident happened last night and police were on the scene investigating, no one saw their loved one laying there dead right behind this gate, even as they picked up gun shells. They need answers as to what's going on.
He's a loving, kind-hearted person with two little baby children. He tried to struggle and take care. Somebody shot him. Nobody knows who shot him. This is the second time they shoot him. The government need to do something about all this murdering. Hang the buggers! Hang them!
The father of two sons, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, was charged last year, August, for the murder of Julian Heads Colley, who police referred to as an alleged gang leader. Colley was himself wanted for murder by police. He was captured on June 2012. A year later, on April 17th, Colley, who was out, was murdered. 4 months later, Smith was charged for Colley's death. Although Smith was charged for murder last year, he was out on bail. His family told us he did not have any electronic monitoring device and that he had been shot several times since and now gunned down. Police who have normally spoken up in the past about this so-called revolving door of bail and persons charged, this time did not comment.
That's my press director says. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But this family say they feel the entire ordeal was a setup and the wrong person accused.
They got him accused wrongly. They have him accused falsely. They even can't prove nothing.
Bystanders all agree that this situation has become far too common in our country. It's another Bahamian male, another seed that's been lost. And whether they're the perpetrator or the victim, some families left grieving, and questions continue to be unanswered. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Operations at Commonwealth Bank branch on Wolf Road came to a standstill today after a customer who was on the outside of the bank was robbed of an undetermined amount of money. When ZNS News arrived on the scene, bank officials were having meetings on the inside with employees, and customers were not allowed to enter the bank. We're told the victim was an employee of John Shea Group of Companies and was about to make a deposit when the armed robbery took place. Well, the Swift Justice Initiative is having significant success with a number of cases fast-tracked. State Minister of Legal Affairs Damien Gomez gave us an update on the successes and said the new courts should be complete soon.
Improve figures for increased timeliness in getting voluntary bills of indictments out, and trial times are coming down, conviction rates are going up, so we are on the way. We are hoping to have the courts fully functional shortly, and the public will be very well served by that development. We've had a problem in the temporary courts with a roof that was not part of the scope of works needing to be fixed, and that is nearing completion.
In news from the courts, a verdict handed down in the Tony Smith murder trial today. He's accused of murdering a relative back in 2012. His co-accused, Leroy Smith, was recently acquitted of murder charges following legal discussions. As Foreign Carrier reports, jurors did not take long to come to a decision.
It took jurors just over an hour to decide that 26-year-old Tony Smith did not kill his cousin, Tristan Bartlett. Bartlett was sitting in his car in Mason's Addition back in February of 2012 when he was gunned down. During the trial, prosecutors contended that Smith shot Bartlett twice in the head, then ran to his grandmother's house and returned to the murder scene a short while later, pretending to be concerned. However, Smith maintained that he was with his girlfriend when Bartlett was killed. The 11-woman one-man jury apparently believed his story, finding him not guilty of murder with a count of 9-3. Smith's father, sitting in court, sighed with relief when the verdict was read, while Smith appeared to wipe away tears. Smith's attorney, Miro DeSeal.
The jury obviously is a sensible jury. They listened to the evidence. They realized that the prosecution's case was based on two witnesses who are incapable of belief. And they went quite reasoned. I'm sure they went and they reasoned the case, properly analyzed the facts as they were told. The facts are for them, and they returned a true verdict according to the evidence.
Now, although Tony Smith has been cleared of this murder charge, he will remain in prison as he has another case pending. Fern Carey, 7S Network News.
A disturbing photo surfaced on a popular social media site of a young man wearing what appeared to be a government high school uniform holding a gun, raising many eyebrows on his real identity, how he acquired the gun, and who took the photo. While most of those questions have yet to be answered, government high school principal Byron Saunders confirmed the young man is not one of his students. Immediately after the photo was brought to his attention, he notified Ministry of Education officials and officers from the Grove Police Station, and police confirmed they're investigating the matter. Meantime, Saunders stressed that while this incident is very unfortunate, he emphasized that government high administrators and students are focused on providing an education in a safe and decent environment. Principal Saunders believes this particular situation speaks to an even bigger issue, the responsible use of social media.
We say without equivocation that the young man is not presently a student of the government high school, and we do not support that action in any manner, shape or form. We're disappointed in this course of action. We have the full support of our superintendent. The police has given us their full support, and it will be investigated thoroughly.
Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources V. Alfred Gray, who has responsibility for the Bahamas Agriculture, Marine and Science Institute, says that while the opposition's concerns about the opening of the school being delayed are valid, he says the opposition is simply seeking political points. Minister Gray said the school is expected to open by the end of the month.
The F&M's leaders' agenda, and perhaps even the F&M's agenda, is to ensure this school fails. But let me send him very clearly the message: it shall not fail. The school will open on the 29th of September, which is about 2 weeks from its original date. Accommodation for students, teachers, and the faculty have been secured temporarily whilst the buildings are being completed. It is true that the buildings perhaps are behind schedule, And I'm told that the weather played a major role in that, together with importing supplies and stuff like that. But the school will open on schedule. I'm advised that all of the buildings should be completed by the middle or end of October. That said, a month's delay in the building's completion ought not to make Mr. Minister Leader feel that the school is not on track.
Now, despite the controversy surrounding the delay in construction at BAMSI, President Godfrey Eneas has confirmed that the institute is on schedule to receive its first class of 50 students this fall, this 29th of September to be exact. On the issue of a master plan to strategically guide the growth and development of BAMSI, officials pointed out that there are a number of plans inclusive of a master plan. The master plan for Phase 1 of the campus was developed by the Diamond Consulting Group, headed by local architect Sean Farrington. Accredited associate degrees and certificates will be offered by the College of the Bahamas through its partnership with BAMSI.
In other news tonight, State Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honorable Damian Gomez, confirmed that members of Cabinet were busy finalizing the long-awaited gaming bill this morning that's expected to be tabled in the House of Assembly tomorrow. State Minister Gomez, who didn't give much details on the bill, said that the gaming bill is expected to modernize the gaming industry and legalize web shop gaming nationwide.
But we are finalizing what we need to finalize this morning. You can expect the first reading tomorrow, and Mr. Wilchcombe will have the honor of disclosing all of those niceties of the bill.
Bahamas Air Traffic Controllers Union President LaShawn Gray confirming that a union filed a trade dispute with the Department of Labor last week due to the Department of Civil Aviation's failure to implement a health and safety committee. Gray says the department and the government, by extension, are in breach of the Health and Safety Act, and this failure by both entities, she says, has compromised the safety of the work environment. Gray continued that staff members working from the main building contaminated with mold put themselves at risk. And earlier this year, water outages at the Nassau Terminal Radar Control and Tower Safety Facility forced employees to transport bottles of water 9 floors to flush toilets. Gray is lobbying the union body for a strike poll regarding breaches of contract and victimization of union members, and says the union will do what's necessary to prompt government to action. The Ministry of Labor issued a release last week that several unions had filed labor disputes that are now before the Industrial Tribunal, and said no union could take strike action presently as it would be considered illegal.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.